Okay, let's unpack this because something pretty significant just happened. A real convergence between digital assets and traditional finance. We're talking about the REX-OSPREY Solana Spot ETF.
Yeah,
It's live.
that's right. A big moment.
And it officially started trading, was it July 2nd, 2025?
For like a second, yeah.
And we saw that immediate market reaction. SLL's price jumped pretty fast to $159 before cooling off a bit to $154. Is that kind of pop typical?
Well, it definitely shows there was pent-up demand, intense interest right out of the gate, which isn't entirely surprising. But the really fascinating part here, it isn't just the launch itself, it's a specific detail.
Which is?
It's the first staking-enabled Solana ETF. That's the key innovation. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it's huge for Solana, really boosts its visibility, in the mainstream investment world. And maybe even more importantly, it sort of elevates investor confidence, not just for Solana, but I think for altcoins generally.
Yeah.
Signals the market's maturing.
Right, that staking-enabled bit. That sounds like the real kicker.
Yeah.
So for you listening, this adds a whole new layer. Break that down for us. What does staking-enabled actually mean for someone investing in this ETF? What does it unlock?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it means the ETF itself can lock up some of the Solana it holds to help run the network, secure it. And in return for doing that, it earns rewards. You can think of it sort of like earning interest in a traditional bank account, but with crypto mechanics.
Like earning rewards.
Exactly. And those rewards can then either be reinvested back into the ETF, which could help its value grow over time, or potentially be distributed. So a possible income stream for investors.
I see.
And this is crucial because for traditional investors, maybe people not deep into crypto yet, it means they get Solana exposure plus a way to participate in the network's yield generation. That was pretty tricky before, right? Unless you held the SOL directly, managed keys, used specific platforms, this wraps it all in a regulated ETF structure. Familiar?
Much more familiar, yeah. Bridges a gap. Passive income potential inside a vehicle they already understand.
Precisely. It lowers the barrier to entry significantly.
So it's really about accessibility then. And using a familiar structure for this, still relatively new asset class, what's the immediate upside for, say, traditional finance players, ones who've been watching crypto from the sidelines?
Well, first off, it's that regulated on-ramp we talked about. A lot of institutions, even some retail folks, they're just hesitant about direct crypto custody, private keys, exchanges. It's complex, feels risky to them.
Understandably.
Yeah. So a spot ETF, especially one offering staking yields, it packages everything up neatly, makes it accessible. This could mean potentially a whole new wave of capital flowing into the Solana ecosystem, more liquidity, bigger market cap. It's a validation, really, a big step towards mainstream acceptance.
Sounds like a definite win-win. For investors, easier access, potential yield. For Solana, validation, more capital.
But, whenever these two worlds, traditional finance and crypto, intersect like this, there have to be challenges, right? Hurdles, risks. What should we be keeping an eye on?
Oh, absolutely. It's not all smooth sailing. Confidence is growing, sure, but the regulatory landscape is still, evolving globally. So questions remain, like how exactly will these staking rewards be taxed? That's a big one.
Good point.
And managing liquidity, especially if the underlying asset, SOL, gets volatile, that needs careful handling within the ETF structure. Custody risks are still there too, although the ETF structure does mitigate them quite a bit compared to holding crypto yourself.
Right.
And of course, you can't forget the basic market risk. Altcoins are volatile, the ETF makes it easier to invest, but it doesn't magically erase the price risk of Solana itself.
Reduces operational complexity, not fundamental asset risk. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap this part up then, the REX-OSPREY Solana Spot ETF launch, it really feels like a pivotal moment. It is. Definitely.
Not just a Solana story, but bigger, right? About integrating altcoins, these other cryptocurrencies, beyond Bitcoin, into mainstream investment tools.
Yeah, I think that's the key takeaway. It signals growing confidence, growing visibility for this whole asset class. It's a maturation marker.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a pretty interesting question to chew on, doesn't it? If Solana's done this, with staking built in, what other altcoins might be next? Who else could launch something similar? And maybe more broadly, what does that signal for the future? For DeFi and how it keeps weaving itself into traditional finance. Something to think about.